The crystalline walls of the Galactic High Court hummed with ancient power as David Martinez stepped through the massive archway, his worn leather jacket a stark contrast to the gleaming technology surrounding him. Behind him, Emma Chen adjusted her tablet, her fingers dancing across the holographic display as she compiled their defense materials. "Behold," thundered High Arbiter Zexthul, his tentacled form undulating atop the elevated judicial platform. The human delegation arrives to face judgment for their species' countless transgressions against galactic law. The assembled representatives of 47 civilizations turned their various optical organs toward the two humans. Chittering, buzzing, and harmonious tones filled the air as they expressed their collective disdain. David surveyed the crowd with the same casual interest he might show at a farmer's market. "You will kneel before this court and beg forgiveness for humanity's crimes against the natural order." Zexthul's voice boomed through the chamber's acoustic amplifiers. David glanced at Emma, who shrugged and gestured toward the defendant's platform, a raised dais clearly designed to force supplicants into submission. Instead of ascending to the designated spot, David pulled out a collapsible chair from his backpack, unfolded it with practiced ease, and sat down right where he stood. "I don't suppose anyone's got coffee?" he asked, his voice carrying clearly in the suddenly silent chamber. "It's been a long trip and I haven't had my morning cup yet." The silence stretched for several heartbeats before erupting into cacophonous outrage. Representatives leaped to their appendages, wings, and pseudopods, their various forms of communication creating a symphony of indignation. "Silence!" Zexthul's bellow restored order. "Human, you will show proper respect to this court." David leaned back in his chair, apparently unbothered by the hundreds of alien eyes fixed upon him. "I am showing respect. I'm here, aren't I? Emma drove the diplomatic credentials through your bureaucracy for 6 months just to get this meeting. Speaking of which," he turned to his companion, "Em, did you remember to pack those little sugar packets?" Emma bit back a smile as she rummaged through her bag. "Got them right here, Dave, though I'm not sure they have a coffee machine." "That's a shame," David said conversationally. "Coffee's really the foundation of human diplomacy. We tend to make better decisions when we're properly caffeinated." High Arbiter Velnara, a being resembling a 6-foot praying mantis made of living crystal, rose from her position. "These humans mock us with their casual disregard for protocol." "Actually," Emma interjected, consulting her tablet, "according to Galactic Court Statute 4847B, defendants have the right to maintain cultural practices that do not interfere with judicial proceedings. Sitting is a fundamental human cultural practice. We're not built for kneeling. It's actually quite uncomfortable for our knee joints." "Preposterous," hissed Representative Sorth of the Serpentine Collective. "All civilized species kneel before authority." David scratched his chin thoughtfully. "See, that's where you might be getting confused. Humans don't really do the whole kneeling before authority thing anymore. We tried it for a while, didn't work out so well. We're more of a mutual respect species now. You stand accused of violating the Planetary Preservation Accord," Zexthul proclaimed, his tentacles writhing with agitation. "Your species has transformed 17 previously uninhabitable worlds without permission." "Terraforming," David nodded. "Yeah, we do that. It's kind of our thing. Without consulting the galactic authorities." "Well," Emma said, pulling up a holographic display from her tablet, "technically, the Planetary Preservation Accord only applies to worlds that are already inhabited or have existing ecosystems. The 17 worlds in question were completely barren. No atmosphere, no life, just rock and radiation. The natural state must be preserved." David blinked slowly. "You're upset that we turned dead rocks into garden worlds? Places where billions of beings can now live and thrive?" The process was not approved. "By who?" David's question hung in the air. "The rocks? Pretty sure they didn't mind." Representative Quilth of the Bureaucratic Union fluffed its feathers indignantly. "Proper forms must be filed, committees must convene, environmental impact studies must be conducted." "For dead rocks?" Emma asked. "We ran the calculations. It would have taken your committees approximately 4,000 years to approve the first terraforming project. Meanwhile, the refugee crisis from the Andorian War needed immediate solutions. You cannot simply decide to bypass established procedures." David leaned forward in his chair, his expression growing serious for the first time. "Actually, we can. And we did. See, while you were all sitting in committees debating the proper font size for environmental impact reports, there were 30 billion refugees dying in overcrowded stations and ship hulks. So we did what humans do, we fixed the problem. Your arrogance knows no bounds. Zextul's tentacles lash the air. You act as if you alone understand the needs of the galaxy. We don't, David said simply. But we understand the needs of the beings in front of us. The Altarian children who needed clean air to breathe. The Centauran elderly who needed proper gravity for their bones. The vegan refugees who just needed soil to grow food. Emma nodded, her fingers dancing across her tablet. Those 17 worlds now house 47 different species. The agricultural output from just 3 of them ended the food crisis in the outer rim. Medical facilities on 2 others have developed cures for 17 previously incurable diseases without proper authorization. David stood up, folding his chair with the same casual efficiency he'd shown unfolding it. Let me tell you something about authorization. Every single species in this room came to us personally to ask for help with the refugee crisis. You all wrung your hands and talked about the complexity of the situation, but when push came to shove and beings were dying, you called humans. The chamber fell silent again, but this time the quality of the silence had changed. We didn't terraform those worlds for glory or conquest, Emma added quietly. We did it because it needed doing and no one else was willing to do it. You still violated galactic law. David smiled, shouldering his backpack. Yeah, probably. But here's the thing about humans. When we have to choose between following the law and saving lives, we save lives. Every time. That's not arrogance. That's just who we are. He paused at the chamber's exit, turning back to the assembled court. Oh, and if any of you ever figure out that coffee machine situation, give us a call. We'll be out there terraforming world number 18. As the 2 humans walked out of the Galactic High Court, the silence behind them slowly gave way to the sound of very uncomfortable beings reconsidering their definitions of justice, authority, and what it truly meant to serve the greater good. High Arbiter Zextul's tentacles drooped as he realized that somewhere in their righteous indignation, they had forgotten the most important question of all. What would they have done in humanity's place? The answer, he suspected, would have involved significantly more paperwork and far fewer living refugees.